Well, hey everybody, I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to As Above, So Below, a rune and tarot divination for Monday, the 24th day of April, 2023. Well, I hope you all had a good weekend. We had a little bit of snow here, but it didn't stay, and that was good. And I guess this week we're supposed to be in the 70s or something. I don't know, at some point, maybe toward the end of the week. Of course, it'll probably change, but you never know. We might. It's the high desert. You never know here. So anyway, if this is your first time here, welcome. I'll just start with sharing with you what I do here. I'm going to I've already taken the runes because I've started this once, and I'm going to keep them. They're Gebo and Populus, and we'll talk about those in a minute. I take two, one from the Elder Futhark, that's the above side of things, so the higher awareness or higher self aspect of the reading, and then the other one I do is from Geomancy. Geomancy is an earth energy type of a system, if you will, whether you're talking pendulums or working with ley lines or working with runes. They're still dealing with earth energies, and so I sort of make that into the below side of things for the purposes of the reading. And so it's higher self versus ego, or higher self versus the personality. Um, because I think that that's the real dichotomy between, well, regarding who we are. We're souls put into these bodies for a period of time, whatever that is, right? And so we have that struggle between remembering that we're a soul and to access that higher awareness that we have, and use that to guide our perceptions and our choices and all of that. Or do we succumb to the reactive ego and react all over the place? Well, you know what happens. So anyway, this is just to give people an idea of how all that might be better integrated. So anyhow, from there, after I draw the two runes, then I draw three cards. And if I need more, I'll take them. I might see something as like, well, I need a little more information about that. And so we'll do that. And so that's really the structure of the reading that I do on Mondays and Thursdays of the weeks, each week. And so let's go ahead and get started, and we'll talk about the runes, and I'll shuffle a little bit more, and we will look at the cards. So let's start with Gebo. Now, Gebo is an X. It's basically Kenaz in all directions. Kenaz is the greater than sign, and you can kind of see that over here. But it's also over here and up above and down below. So it's really an as above, so below, as within, so without type of a rune. It's about reciprocity. It means the gift. But it's the reciprocity between people. It's relationships, it's marriage, it's partnership, it's balanced energy exchange. It can describe a link. If you were to terminate the ends on either side, you'd have the rune Dagaz, which means new day. But in this case, we're really standing in the center of this energetically, and expressing the light of spirit outward in all directions. That's really how you would see this from a higher self standpoint. And so the overall influence, then the higher influence today, is how do you conduct yourself within a partnership? We'll say that. It might turn into something else as we go along, but if not, then that's what we're going to do. And those of you who've been here before and you've come back, thank you so much. I appreciate it. You've heard all this before, but periodically I'll stop and I'll do this. If you click on more below the video, it'll open up a little window that gives links to my blog, and down below, down at the bottom of it, it gives social media links and stuff. But then the center of it is a few paragraphs on what I'm doing here. So if you want to read that, that'll also give you a little information. But anyway, the Geomancy rune, the below side, the ego side, is Populus. Now, Populus is the complement of Vaya. Vaya would just be one single row of dots. With this, though, that would be the active principle. This is a passive principle. So Populus is about the people. It's about being a follower. It's about aligning with others in unity, but maybe just going along with the crowd, not necessarily taking your own direct path the way Vaya would be. So in this case, given its passive influence, then I would say in conjunction with Gebo, we'll start this out saying, with respect to how you interact with others and how you express yourself in terms of reciprocity and partnership and all of that, you need to drop resistance today. And if you're given to control at all, you need to just stop and just go along with things, and see where it takes you. Be the supportive member of the partnership today. Try that on and see how that feels. Especially if you have a tendency to want to control everything in your partnerships. And in your relationships with others, this could be signaling that for some higher purpose now today, and the soul needs to express itself in a way that's in harmony, with others, instead of trying to control. Well, okay, this is not shuffling right. Instead of trying to control the whole narrative all the time. So, but let's see. Let's shuffle the deck one more time. And then we'll go ahead and we'll cut the deck and we will see what we have as far as the 3 cards we're going to start with. Okay, well, this is definitely about interaction and maybe some kind of, we'll take a look at the 2 here. We have a 3 of Pentacles. We have actually a run on Pentacles. Pentacles is the earth element. So that's going to be your physicality, your physical environment, your body, your career, your home, your tradition, your legacy, all of that stuff. And we have a 3 of Pentacles, a 2 of Pentacles. Let's see. And then we have a 4 of Wands. So 4 and 3 is 7, 8, 9. So there's a 9 energy. It's interesting. In the last attempt at this, when I drew cards, I had a 9 numerology for that as well. 9 is about endings and completion, at least in terms of magic. But as far as the numerology, it's generally spirituality, generosity, things like that. So especially in terms of Gebo, and dropping resistance with populace and being more cohesive and unified and on the same page and not trying to control everything in the relationships you have. It could be that either that aspect of self, that choice is coming to an end, or because you've seen the issue that it causes, or it could be that we're talking about the spiritual aspects of this and the higher awareness aspects of this. And so it could be, it's the expression of spirit outward into our interactions with other people. It could have something to do with that. So there's some alignment, both depending on how you want to see the numerology of 9. So I tend to immediately think endings and completion, but that's just me. So, but again, it could be that shift from awareness of, ego doesn't always work out so well. And maybe I need to let higher self, make those decisions and think of things from that standpoint. And see the bigger picture. With Gebo, it's that spread outward that to me brings in the idea of seeing the entire picture and understanding the grace that's involved in reciprocity and in the gift of partnership and marriage. That's a big thing. That's a big energetic thing. And it's a big choice to make. Right? To move away from the self and to interact and relate and align and partner with somebody else. So here we'll start out with the 3 of Pentacles. Here we see a man working on he's doing some masonry work probably. He's standing up on a bench. He's got an apron on. And if you look really closely here in his hand, he's got his left hand up on the wall. So it's almost like he's hammering something in. You see this right here. It's like he's trying to hammer something into the wall. And these 2 people come by and they're talking to him. So there's interaction with the 3, communication. 3 is about communication, and among other things, but it's about that. It can also be mind, body, spirit. The triplicities, mind, body, spirit alignment, past, present, future, that sort of thing, beginning, middle, and end. But here they're coming by and they're taking a look at what he's doing, and they're admiring his work. And maybe they're wanting to hire him. This could be a financial situation. Pentacles is also represented by the coins. You see the coins here. And so it's about money, and again, work, livelihood, and the interaction, the balanced energy exchange, the gebo of all of it. I mean, this is a perfect card to represent that, to represent gebo in this. And with Populus, these two could be the crowd that's walking by and taking a look at what he's doing, and just trying to either admire it or perhaps hire him or something. But we'll see. But at this point, see, a decision needs to be made. 2 is about decisions. It's also about reciprocity. It's also about love and balance and healing. But in the case of the pentacle, you see the figure 8 there, the lemniscate. You also see the waves, the big waves in the background in the ocean. You see this little line of demarcation here. He's standing away from that. The water is going to indicate emotion. Even though this is a card of the earth element, they oftentimes will include other elements as well. And here you've got some big emotions going on. All right. And he's got to make some decisions. He's standing on one foot. He's juggling basically one thing up with the other. One seems to have a little bit more weight than the other. It kind of seems like, but maybe not. But this has to do with his physical and material security. What is he going to do? What decision is he going to make? And he's keeping the emotion out of it, you see. So maybe maybe this has to do with you have a business and you're trying to decide, what kind of clientele do I want to take on? Do I want to take on the ones that are doing that want me to do a particular job maybe I'm not sure I want to do. So he's having to make a decision maybe here. A decision that is going to impact his future maybe. And I'm comfortable at this point leaving the 2 cards in the order that they are, but we might end up taking this in another direction, but maybe not. Here we have the 4 of Wands. Now, Wands is the fire element. It's a very active principle versus passive. Earth is passive. And so here you have a wedding, you have a marriage. You have a partnership. You have gebo happening. You have gebo happening up here because those garlands are crossed in the center. It's an interesting how the card is drawn too, because you've got 2 poles here, 2 poles here, and this could represent the balanced polarity of each individual. So they've gotten all that in order and they've decided to get married. And express that partnership, express that gebo, to unite together, 2 coming together, or 2 individuals coming together, you see, in some kind of an agreement, in some kind of a relationship here, where they've dropped resistance to their own ideas, to their own stuff, and their own desires, and they've come together in unity and in harmony, and in this case, marriage. You see the arched bridge over here. There's actually 3 little arches in it underneath it, which can align with the 3 here. Mind, body, spirit balance. Coming into and getting all that in order and coming together with someone else in unity and in harmony and in marriage. Now that's how this card is defined, but it could also just simply mean partnership, if it's not a marriage. And so maybe, who knows, maybe these could be people that are coming by and they're wanting to go into business with this guy, or they're wanting to hire him. Maybe they have a business and instead of working on his own, maybe they want him to come work for them, right? So if you come and you look at the first two cards that are both pentacles, you have a 3 and a 2, and that's 5. And so you're talking about change that needs to take place. And again, a decision's being made here having to do with his financial security. It's emotional. Maybe he's making the decision to partner with this woman, you know? Or maybe he's just making the decision to get married. I'm building my career. I'm planning for my future. But I need another level of security, and that security is found in marriage. You know, sometimes you get together when you're young and you aren't really ready. You know, maybe you're in college, or maybe you're just starting out in your job, and you want to be sure that you have enough money that you can actually contribute something to a partnership, to a marriage. And you want to, maybe you're both getting money together for a down payment on a house. You want to get all those things in order before you then take the leap into marriage. Maybe you get married and do all those things, but a lot of people don't. They get their lives in order first, and they get settled into their careers, and then they start thinking about settling down and getting married, and maybe having children, maybe not, but they want to have that partnership, that gebo relationship with somebody, and so it could simply be that I mean, if you want to start with the 2 and have it go numerically 2, 3, and 4, why don't we do it with that? And let's go ahead and start it from that standpoint. Here, he's making a decision. He's taking the emotion out of it, because you can see he's standing here, and here you have this line here, and then you have the waves in the background. You see the boats there. But he's making a decision. He's weighing things out, having to do with his own material security. And after making those decisions, now he's starting his career. And from there, he's ready to move on into marriage or to some kind of a partnership. Now, how does this relate to Gebo? Gebo's about partnership, dropping resistance to maybe having your life be all by yourself, and now you're ready to let go of that control and move on with someone else where you share that control with that other person. So this could simply be that a new partnership is forming, or perhaps you're getting ready to think about getting married. But some kind of partnership is forming here where you have to weigh it out, and you have to express yourself and what you need from a higher perspective. And not just from the immediate lack of impulse control. Oh, we just met, we fell in love, I've known you 5 minutes, let's go get married. It doesn't sound like that. It sounds like you have to weigh some things out. Are you ready? Are you financially secure enough to do that? Or is this a situation where if you do get married, you'll have greater financial security? A lot of the time that's what happens, especially if you're career professionals or something in some kind of, you're doctors, lawyers, or, in some kind of, management situation. Maybe together, individually, you might struggle a little bit, but together you could have a really nice life together if you got married and you partnered with somebody else. Or if this is a business relationship, which it could be, and not a marriage per se, because again, we can look at this in a variety of ways, especially with Gebo, is dropping resistance to the need to have a partner. That maybe in your business, you're not doing as well as you could, but if you took on a partner, maybe you could offer more services to your customers and thus, increase your income. You see, and increase your financial security that way. So this could play out a lot of different ways. But it seems to me that there's an issue of partnership here, and maybe you need to drop some control and be part of the group. In other words, come together with somebody else or a series of somebody else's, and form a partnership together that will then increase your financial security in the long run. Now, if we had via here instead of populace, I might be saying something entirely different. Assert yourself a little bit more in your expression of partnership. Maybe you've been too passive, but maybe this time you just need to take a step back and realize that maybe you don't have to accomplish it all yourself. Maybe you can take on a partner to help you do that. And that can apply again to your career. It could apply to your personal life. It could be, in fact, it could even apply to, it's like, oh, I'm really struggling getting this project done on my property, but my next door neighbor might be able to help me. So you ask your neighbor for help. It's dropping resistance to having to manage it all yourself. That keeps coming into my head. And so you weigh out the decision about what you need to do to make yourself more materially secure. And again, once you get your career in order, you can then take on, a partner of some kind in some way in your life. But see, here you have something to offer, don't you? And that's another part of the Three of Pentacles. You have something to offer someone else. And once you do that, once you get all of that in order, maybe then you take that next step into partnership with someone else, either marriage or business. So I don't think I need another card. I think if we put it here in the order of 2, 3, and 4, there's a a feeling of progression to it. First this step, then this step, then this step. So don't get the steps confused. Don't jump into here and then find yourself and you're having to make a decision that, maybe this wasn't the right thing to do. But you make your decision, you weigh out what's going to be best for your material security, and you get your ducks in a row, you get your career in order. Then you take the next step to partnership. So, well, we'll see about that. See how that resonates for you today. We'll come back again on Thursday, and lately, last week we didn't really have it so much where one reading, dovetailed into the next. But sometimes that happens, and I think that it's kind of fun when it does. And so this may be a situation where we have a continuation on Thursday that explains this a little bit more. But if not, see how this resonates for you. And if you're trying to weigh something out, well, make sure that you have all your ducks are in a row before you make the big decision in terms of how you express yourself in terms of partnership with someone else, or more than one person. If it's a bunch of you coming together to form a business, or you're choosing to become part of somebody else's business or something like that, there's just a feeling of partnership where you're going to have to maybe drop a little bit of resistance to what's best for your material security in the long run. So, and not try to control every single outcome about it. Other than, of course, the decision that you have to make. That's where you're in, you take the control there. But then after that, see where it takes you. So anyway, I guess that's it. Thanks for watching. And I think we did it. I don't think we need another card. I mean, we could take one, but I don't know which one I would modify. Maybe about the 2, but I like this progression of 2, 3, and 4. Anytime you can see those kind of patterns, I think it adds to the reading. But we'll see how it goes. We'll talk again on Thursday. If you haven't yet clicked subscribe, I'd love you to do that. And come back and join us again on Thursday for another edition of As Above, So Below. Be good to yourself. Be good to one another. And blessed be.